What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and how you feeling today? Feeling lovely. Welcoming in some beautiful thoughts, some beautiful words, speaking some just great things into existence. The moon's in Libra. This would be a great time to do that. But I do enjoy me a nice moon in Libra. I would say this would be a great time to just invite even just some nice literature into your world. Read maybe some poetry, things along those lines. Especially being in this waning crescent that we're in, just kind of as we wind down. This is one of my favorite parts of the lunar cycles. Like we start off with the new moon in Libra, and then we end off with her kind of like smiling at the end. It's just like whatever intentions you set, wait till you see them manifest. But we will get into that more here in a moment. But if you're new to this channel, again, welcome. My name is Justin, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also a place for you if you happen to have Cancer in your placement. Sun, moon, rising, maybe Venus, wherever. This one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based of our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going to avoid, of course, just all them lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. And what a lovely day for the moon to be in Libra, because depending on when you're watching this, happy moon day. And actually, I'm going to shuffle your cards here while I'm doing this. But moon days are really great for, oh, did I tell you, moon associated with Mondays. But also, the moon days I feel like are a great time for just kind of checking within. The moon can be how we nurture ourselves, how we nourish the soul. It's a very personal part of the chart. The moon moves so fast. So yeah, I feel like this is a great time to just tune into your cycle, your rhythm, and how you flow through life. This could be, I feel like, a great time to, again, to kind of just like get some things around like the house in order. I find are great days for moon days, but just pay attention to how you're feeling. I feel like really kind of first and foremost when we're talking about with the moon. And one thing I'd like to do too when we're talking about these different planetary days and different hours is, what is your relationship with your moon placement? You know, where's your moon located by house, by sign? Does she have any beneficial aspects from like Jupiter or Venus, or she's got a little bit of tougher aspects from maybe from like Saturn or from like Mars? What's all that looking like? Just checking to see how your moon's doing. So, but depending on, let's get into more lunar shenanigans. Oh, hold on. Thank you, Spirit. But depending on when you're watching this, the moon is going to be entering into Libra on the 28th of October. And this is going to happen at about 9:30 p.m. And that's going to be Pacific time. And she's in that waning crescent phase. And like I was saying in the last video, the waning crescent phase is really a great time for just wrapping things up. I find, especially when we're in that last phase before we get into the new moon cycle, what happened, especially during, this one was a really action-packed eclipse, because there was an eclipse that started it off, but this was a very active lunar cycle, considering that it had that Libra lunar eclipse and that Pisces full moon eclipse that was going on. So really take the time. How have you integrated what has gone down? What intentions did you set? How are you feeling about them? Because we're going to check in again the next time. Let me get that pulled up. The next time we'll be looking into when we check it, like the first quarter moon in about 9 months, will be on July 2nd of 2025 when we have our first quarter moon in Libra. So that'd be a great time for just kind of seeing what intentions that you want to check and that you want to take for that long haul. But you don't want to set, like, if you happen to be working with this moon as far as like in like really big kind of long-term intentions, this would be a time where to just kind of review those things as well. But also too, when we're talking about Libra's ruled by the lovely Venus. So there's an attractive energy. Like Venus is how we magnetize and how we experience beauty, how we express beauty, how we find that in relationships and things. But Libra's modality is cardinal, so they're one of the initiators, like ourselves, they're Cancer. But the difference is that their element is the air element. And so this deals with our thoughts and how we communicate. and then their gender is masculine. So there's a more active energy that comes with Libra. And what I find with Libra, they remind me, I think of like the law of attraction when I think about Libra, especially with Venus being their ruler. Whatever I feel Libra energy puts out there, it just attracts like a magnet when they want something. You know, Libra has a way of manipulating. When I say manipulating, I don't mean that they're necessarily in a malicious way, but they know how to. If you ever sat with the Libra, I love talking with Libras. Libra has a way of just speaking that is captivating. It's a way their thought process. I find sun, moons, rise, especially suns in particular, but suns and Mercuries. I really like that placement for Libra, but I feel like that's what Libra has, this way of attracting the things that they want with their words and with their thoughts. And so really kind of paying attention to as well, just like what is going on in your mind? What are your intentions when you're speaking? And just in general, while we're on the topic of manipulation, because that is something to think about with Libra. And I also think too that, you know, there's this thing that Libra gets, this sort of indecisive type of generalization. And I remember talking with a Libra Sun Mercury about this. And it's not that they don't know what to do or want to do something. It's just that they've considered all of the options. And it's just like it can go a whole bunch of ways. And it's just like, you know what? Someone who has a Gemini and like have a Gemini moon, it's just like, yeah, sometimes you can have too many things. You're just like, you know what, I'm good. I'd just rather not pick. And I know what I kind of like, but it's like, what could I be missing out on? I think that's something that air energy can relate to. So I just feel like maybe instead of like, if you've been kind of caught in that sort of analysis paralysis, it's not that you don't want to do, it's just like, I feel like it's like thinking about weigh the consequences and just see what happens. You know, like not think about what's that phrase? FOMO, getting into that fear of missing out on something. Because if you don't do anything, then you're going to miss out on everything. So that's just something I feel like to think about with Libra energy. And if you're wanting to work with your lunar placement more closely, or if you want to just work with your chart more closely, down in the description box below, I have links for the lunar groups that I host each month, and also some other services that I provide as well, including tarot card reading as well. So that's something that resonates with you. Don't get caught up in that again. Don't think too hard about it. Just click that button down in the description box below. We'll talk all about it then. But I think that's all I got for you. So let me go ahead and switch this thing over. And last couple of things here. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then before we jump into this thing, I'm going to ring this bell to bring in some good vibes, so adjust your volume if you need to. But let me go ahead and give this a ring, and we'll get into this. Lovely. All right, let's get into your general energy of the day. Oh, I'm with it. This is a strong one to end on here. And I feel like this feels auspicious. This feels like, again, if you haven't set any intentions for this moon, just be thinking about this. I know this is not necessarily a great time to start up things, but just write some stuff down and then let that kind of marinate for a little bit and see about, and then we'll start. But you got the Buffalo Spirit card here. This is the 10th card, which is Wheel of Fortune energy, Big Papa. And the card for this card is about the abundant universe will provide. But first thing that I got from this thing, it'll provide if you have the faith. Because the universe, there is an abundance of things. It's just a matter of our perspective. One of my stories that I like talking about, I remember being in Colorado and being in this. I was kind of in a lower spot then. And I was in this really nice house. It was a nice house. I was in this really nice house. And I was sitting on the porch. It was like sunrise. I was smoking a cigarette, and it was just like I just remember looking out at things and just being really just disgusted. And even in all of this abundance, I didn't feel abundant, and I didn't feel provided for at that time. And it really makes me think about just in the times of where that I've not necessarily missed out per se, which maybe I did, but it's more so now I don't take those moments for granted. When I look back on them, I try to pull in. I don't reflect just necessarily on the fact that I was there. It's just like, you know what? I really wasn't thinking in that state of abundance. I felt like there was still such that was lacking. And I feel like this abundant, this and it may sound generic, it may sound kind of just like, oh yeah, of course, but when you really think about it, the universe provides. I even think about when it's like raining outside and there's this feel. I'm in Seattle, and there'll be this kind of general feeling of just like, oh, the rain, when I hear some people talk. But I think like, thank goodness for the rain, because when there's no rain, then it's just everything's dry, and and then there wouldn't be all this lushness, and there's no, Washington's known as like the evergreen state because of all this greenery, because of all the moisture that is provided. And so even just on a basic level, the world just provides for us all the time with different sort of crops that grow. You plant some seeds and then they grow, and just, I mean, you leave nature alone, it'll just figure itself out. Nature's going to do what it's going to do, which is provide. And there's a system that goes along with that. I'm even getting some Empress energy coming through there. But I actually was just a word that has been, I was just looking this up before I started this video, and I was this word lacuna. And it's this, it can feel like there's a gap, or like that's what the definition is, like a gap, or that there's something missing, like a cavity, this empty space. And I feel that if you've been feeling like there's this just been like the universe hasn't provided for you, I think that comes to a time where you just need to take a moment and look at all that you have, and look at like, oh my gosh, I have all these things. Not necessarily what you want, because there's always going to be, I'm getting like even like a 10 of Pentacles vibes. There could always be more. But I feel like it's just looking at the things that you have and looking at it with gratitude, that there is, be thankful for the food that you get every day, that you can cook for yourself, or that you pick up at the store, that, or clothes on your back, roof over your head, your employment, knowing that resources are coming in. Let's get some tarot on this, and let's get grounded in this, get some details. I thought I saw. Oh, I thought I saw something flip, but there's the Hanged Man just flying out there. Thanks, Spirit. Look at this. Look at your cups overflowing. You have the Hanged Man, which is water energy here, the Ace of Cups, the root of water, and then you have the Three of Wands. And I feel for some, maybe there's this need to nourish yourself a bit. Bring some, we were talking about with that Moon and Libra energy. Have we been coming from a poverty mindset, a state of lack? Because then things are going to be dried up, and then all we're going to see is the world is upside down, and that things aren't going right, or whatever the narrative may be. But when you allow yourself to receive the abundance that this universe provides in many different ways, pathways start opening up for you. And you get to a place where it's hard to deny how abundant this universe can be, and how much resources that we have available. I was just talking with this person the other day, and it still kind of brings up some strong emotions around this Scorpio season. Love it. But we were having this conversation just about the just kind of they were from Poland, and they were just talking about just the kind of the homelessness that are kind of going on just around, and he was saying that it's not like, he's like, yeah, where we have that in our big cities, but it's nothing like it is here. And there's this sense of, there's a sense of community and sense of that you can be provided. And I had even said, I've told them, it's like, listen, I go out there and volunteer sometimes, and I know that there's a lot more nuance, and it's a complicated scenario. And to know that there are very resources, but I'm not quite sure what that is, that we feel like we can't avail ourselves of that. You'll see people maybe come in and steal some things or whatnot, but there are places that'll provide you free clothes. There are places that will provide you food. There are places that can provide you shelter. But I think that there's, of course, it gets into there's a mental illness that goes on with that, of course, as well. But having, and not even just having seen it, but to continue to experience it, the universe always provides, and it does always give when we are open to that perspective. I'm even just thinking about Jupiter. Jupiter brings, since with that 10th card, the Wheel of Fortune energy, Jupiter brings about a brighter perspective. He brings that optimism, that lust, that enthusiasm for life, because there is so much more out there to see. There's so much more out there to experience. And I feel that if this is something that maybe you've been struggling with, what ways that you can fill up your cup. This is the holy grail, this Ace of Cups. I mean, just, it can't be contained how much you can be provided for. But I think we started with the Hanged Man yesterday's energy too. So there's a really strong, I feel, message here, or not yesterday, but when the moon was in Virgo. But I feel that there is a need to see things from a different perspective. If that's just like, and it's not like just all of a sudden to snap on and you're just, oh, look at, but just allow those abundant thoughts to come in to tip the scales in a different direction. Let me get a little bit more with this Hanged Man. And I'm going to get a bit more with the Hanged Man and the Ace of Cups. Let me start with the Hanged Man. Okay. And let me get the... Oh, okay. See? don't gotta work that out. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. So first off, the Hanged Man is clarified by the Knight of Wands here. And I feel with this, it's just like, where has your energy been going? Where have we been? What has been fueling your actions with the Knight of Wands here? Because I feel with this feather kind of falling over this wand, it's a matter of thought that's coming on. That's what's I feel is maybe even possibly preventing you from seeing different options from, like, even a situation you might be in. And now with the Ace of Cups, this is clarified by the Five of Wands. This is Saturn and Leo. And this is one of the signs that Saturn is in detriment in, where you could feel restricted as far as like where you can put your energies. You feel like there's like, I'm only limited to just this one option here. But the Five of Wands is this brainstorming. Maybe we need to talk about this with someone, and not just talk about it, but be receptive to maybe some criticism that might come in, as far as like, well, things have been going this way because this is where the thought process has been. But just as the thought process has been in this direction, like I said, you can shift it in another direction, and it's going to take work. It's like, just because you start to switch to a different mindset, if you've been entertaining a lower vibration for a long time, it may take a bit to break that cycle and get things on track, but you will start noticing the results, and there might be some things that try to some resistance along the way, but as those energies get stronger, you get stronger. It may take, I'm being drawn back to those tally marks. It may take 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 times, but it works. I have a sun in the 12th house, Cancer and South Node there. I was stuck for about 15 years of just in my life, and of course, there were spurts of happiness and things along those. There were Ace of Cups, but a majority of it was just dry. The more dry, well, not my cup was overflowing with maybe a different liquid, but it was a different vibe then, and it's something that has taken some time, but it's been there, Let me get some more on this. Thank you, Spirit. Let's see what else is going on here. A lot of emotions. You got the 8 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, and the Prince of Cups here. And the Prince of Cups in the Thoth deck can be volatile. The princes represent air, the cups represent water, so he's the airy part of water, the steam, he's got a lot that he holds in, and I feel that, look at how these cups here, this 8 of Cups, things have run dry. And I feel that there's this need, there's a need to introduce, the 6 of Cups here is a card of pleasure, but I think that it's introducing more healing energies into your world, where if you've noticed, let's say, certain relationships haven't been working, it's time to remove ourselves from that situation. Put up some boundaries. I like to, when I think about boundaries, it's not when I think about in war, when something's under attack, the enemy's not going to check in and just oh, I didn't mean, am I enforcing it? Am I holding up your boundaries? Okay, no, they're going to keep pushing. It's your job to reinforce that. And it's just no, you can't cross here. No, no. Full stop. In the 6 of Cups, maybe there's just this pathway, almost getting used to. I'm almost getting maybe there's been this romanticized, when you get in a rut for a while, or get in a certain vibration for a while, you can almost find the pleasure in it. I think about how, I've been working on my sobriety and just paying attention to just how in the music that I would listen to and things, how just those that was just so celebrated, and things are fine in moderation, but it was just that I was taking it to excess. And I'm just wondering if there's been this energy here of kind of engaging, or where something is just not doing it for you anymore, and now there's a need to have a different focus on the Prince of Cups to do things differently, to know that as you're going towards making this shift, that even if there are maybe some speed bumps and some hurdles and things that you may need to overcome, that if you just stay stagnant, nothing changes. But if you keep putting in the work, you just get stronger from it. And you don't have to do it by yourself. The universe is abundant. You could look to different therapists, different maybe life coach, maybe watch different videos, maybe buying different literature and things. One of my favorite books that has been really pivotal over the last couple of years has been the complete works of Florence, Shinn. It's just a lot about affirmations and the power of the word. And another kind of nice one here too, if this is maybe manifested more physical, Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. I have links down. I don't think I have one for this one. I'll include a link for that one too. But it talks about the mental causes for physical illnesses in a way to help overcome them. And so there's so much out there, and with the power of the internet and how much free information is out there, there's so much that we can avail ourselves of now, that there's not really an excuse for not being able to overcome these things. And again, it takes work. I don't say any of this lightly, but I do say it encouragingly, because it can work and it does work, and it will continue to work for you if that's your intention that you set. New pathways will always open up for you, and you start walking away from this dry land and go looking for more water. If something has if it's just been just piddling amounts. Let's get some advice from Venus. Thank you, Spirit. So last little bit here. Got the Princess of Swords here. And let's switch back over. Princess of Swords. Look at her card. Her card is kind of destructive. And I feel she's the princesses represent earth and the swords represent air. So she's the earthy part of air. And I feel it's her world is a result of her thoughts. And it's just like, have you been fighting yourself as far as like thinking that things can be different? Maybe you've told yourself like things have always been this way, it'll always, and it's like, I feel like when you find yourself in like, okay, I'll always be in this low vibration, and then followed up with why. Why do you think you'll always be in that situation? She has a Medusa on her head. What is it that's got you so just like petrified? Or there's a word for, I'm sure there's a word for what that is, for turning into, I think it's petrify. But what's got you feeling like you have to be stuck in this? There are things that always have to be that way. Why can't things always be abundant? Why can't you always be provided for? Why can't you always be in your highest vibration? Always feel loved, always feel nourished, feel nurtured. I challenge that. And that may feel aggressive. You're just like, But yeah, sometimes you got to do that. And you have to be just as aggressive, I feel, as some of those kind of invasive thoughts can be. You have to be just as aggressive with the opposite, I feel, with Libra. It's a balancing thing. And if it's been weighed here, you got to come hard, come heavy, and be unapologetic about it. Shower yourself with abundance every day. If you got to put affirmation, I get up every day and I take a page and I journal, and then I take the back of a page and then I write an affirmation and fill up a page of whatever affirmation for that lunar cycle is that I set for the month. And I include that in the description box, whatever affirmation I'm working with that month. That's the one I literally write the page every day, from the new moon in Libra to the waning crescent moon in Libra, or whatever lunar cycle that we have to be in. And yeah, that's aggressive, but I was 15 years or so maybe a little bit more than that, of just depression. And so you have to work with this the way that you need to work with this. Maybe you need to get outside. Maybe you need to see a therapist. Maybe you need to do some art. Maybe you need to work it out. Whatever. Go on little trips. You do these things. Make these practices regular. And it's going to maybe feel like a bit of a war zone at first. But it's you against you. And who knows you better than you? No one. No, and then remember that too. Don't think that you have to, where someone is in control of how your growth goes. I was actually listening to a tarot card reader, and I think I'm going to wrap this up, that sometimes healers are brought into your world not because they've done the healing. it's like they've done some healing, but I feel like it's more so they're bringing a perspective for you that maybe you hadn't considered, so that you can do, because I can't do the healing work for you. It's up to you to take what resonates with you and what works with you and then apply it to your life. You are the one that's setting this future. No one can predict your future other than you. When I'm thinking about your future, though, no, all I see is abundance. I see an abundant universe, and something that you will, it's going to overflow, and it's going to be something that you'll be able to share with others, and then it'll create this brilliance and hopefully get it to this place where things aren't running so dry and aren't running so where there's more faith in where we go. So take this time, and take your time. Take as much time as you need to, because it's perfect. It's happening in divine timing. And for what it's worth, again, I believe in you. So I'm going to leave that there. Scorpio season is getting feeling so emotional. And it's been a beautiful thing. I've been finding a lot of beauty in that conversation that I had with that guy. I mean, I was about to start crying right there. It was just it was a lot in like the best way. But if you like that or anything, Prince of Cups, he's Scorpio for me. And look, I'm talking about that last little thing. The Six of Cups is the Sun in Scorpio, and Saturn's in Pisces. The Eight of Cups, love that. But if you love that, or if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. Share this, you Ace of Cups. if you let this message overflow, send them good vibes out, and then subscribe there. Or did I say that? Yeah, subscribe. Hit that bell button to get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit, if you want to know what's going on with the sun and the other planets in the sky, come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. It's down in the description box below, where I talk about the weekly transits and what intentions that we can set with that. And also, too, down there on that channel, I do different planets and different signs and different houses. So that's a little fun thing that I've been really enjoying. And all the housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card or cards here to wrap up this lunar cycle and get ready for the next one. Oh, more? Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. We're getting more. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so your first card here, you have the Forgive and Release card, which is a card of, is it time to release and heal? And then you have the Ceremony card, which is Ritual, Celebrate, and Devotion. And so take this time if you're needing to heal anything. And I almost feel like I feel like there's this need to release, because eventually things, I'm getting this message. It's like, it's like releasing the maybe the idea that you're just gonna constantly be in a state of healing, that this is just going to be that this is just going to be it, like that this thing is just gonna keep reoccurring, and that it's you know what I mean? I feel like there's this new energy here of celebrating the growth and not just staying in the healing. Like, you're not just going to be in this place where you're going to be healing. You're eventually, let's say if you were to injure some part of the body, it heals and then it gets back to work. You may have to work with it maybe in a different way, be a little bit more delicate. Something in your awareness came through, but it's just like, oh, okay, this is how I need to move. We're getting into, and we're staying devoted to the idea of growing and of knowing that things will eventually, you can get back into place, will scab over and then kind of pop off, and just like, Let me get a tarot on this before we close. This forgive and release. Spirit. Got the Page of Wands here. And this is new energy coming in. There's this vine that's wrapping around this wand. There's new growth that's happening. It's starting off like this sapling, and it's like I'm getting almost like this energy of you can grow and heal at the same time. It's something about that distinction is kind of coming through there. But I do feel with this ceremony, and this is a card of you're getting in a new ritual of celebrating you, of this abundance or the abundance that the universe does provide for you, that spirit provides for you. And stay devoted to that growth, to that change, to that prosperity that is your birthright. You know, that there are things that are promised to us. But yeah, that's all I got for you there. So until next time I see you will be in the new moon in Scorpio. So until then, keep eyes on the moon and keep raising that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you on the next one, Jupiter Day.